Well, all right, everybody. It is the first Wednesday of this December holiday month. It's December 4th in the year 2024. Welcome to episode number 182 of Material Issues. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm over here in brutally cold South Jersey. It'll wake you the heck up. But on the other side of the country, joining me as usual from his nice, sunny, balmy, warm Southern California home in Reseda, the president of the International Pop Overthrow Festival, my very good friend, Mr. David Bash. David, welcome to episode number 182.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And well, yeah, as you know, I've been going through a lot of pain due to my compression fracture of the L4 vertebra and my spinal stenosis. I finally got to see a pain management specialist, and they prescribed a certain painkiller, which I don't even remember the name of it, but it's going to be sent to my pharmacy. And also, they want to give me a cortisone shot, which I'm very happy about. But unfortunately, I'm on a blood thinner for my heart, and the cortisone shot is also a blood thinner, and they have kind of a synergistic effect. So we have to figure out how, if at all, we'll be able to do it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I've contacted my cardiologist to see what he says. And if he says take it, I'm gonna then it'll probably be another week or two before I get it. But
Of course,
hopefully the new painkiller will make me feel better without making me loopy. But we'll see. It is what it is.
That's when we're going to play Stump the Bash, when you're at your loopiest. That'll be fun.
Then we can bring John Borak in, and maybe he could actually beat me.
Yeah, it looks like we're happy to see he's looked like he's feeling a little bit better too, and he played a gig last week, I guess, after he got out.
Yeah, he played drums Sunday. He said it went pretty well. It wasn't easy, but it was successful, and he's gone back to work. So I mean, he's not 100%, but he's
doing well.
He's doing well enough to be able to resume most of his activities. So so that's good to know.
That is.
On the downside, though, I lost a very good. Thank you, Brian.
Right.
I lost a good friend, Glenn Laughlin of the band the Cherry Blue Storms, who passed away a few days ago. He had been suffering a lot. He'd been in and out of hospitals for the past several years. So, it's never, it's one of those things you never wish that anybody dies, but, sometimes you realize that in some ways it relieves a lot of pain and a lot of stress, and hopefully he's in a better place now. But he and his wife Deborah were the heads of the band Cherry Blue Storms, who played IPO many times. Really good psychedelic pop band. And Glenn finished an album a few months before he passed. And we're going to play a track from it in his honor later in the show.
Nice. Yeah.
So, we've got that going on. Okay. I have to ask you, what do you think about the proposed rule in baseball to have the golden batter?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up to you at the top of the hour.
Oh.
If baseball hasn't jumped the shark already, this is stupid. They're taking it from the Savannah Bananas, which is a comedy baseball team, out for laughs, and it's just ridiculous.
I agree. I mean, as bad as we thought the Ghost Runner was, this beats it by leaps and bounds in terms of asinine-ery. I'll just coin that word right now. It's all the result of a clueless commissioner thinking that things like this are going to attract more younger viewers to watch baseball, and it's not going to work.
he's seeing the Savannah Bananas, and they're selling out, and they have a bunch of kids and people that don't really, they're not there for the baseball game, they're there for the comedy. But you're cheapening the game. You're just
no, you're definitely cheapening it. It serves no purpose, as I said, other than trying to attract younger viewers to baseball, and it's not going to work.
Well, for those people watching that don't understand what this is, though, give it a quick rundown, essentially.
Well, basically, I mean, if you don't understand baseball, it's going to be hard to explain. But baseball has nine batters that go through.
You have your lineup. You have your lineup
in the lineup that go through the order and then go again and again as many times as they can. But this rule would allow the best batter on the team to essentially, if there's a situation where they really need him, even if he's not the person who's supposed to be up at bat, they can actually put him up at bat one time a game.
Well, what I heard, it was, because I looked at it a little bit more, they said it was only from the 7th inning on.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Seventh inning on, and it could only be done once.
Right.
So the thing is, like, say the Dodgers are down 3 runs in the 8th inning, they load the bases, and let's say there's one out. Up comes Ohtani. Ohtani strikes out with the bases loaded. That's 2 outs. They can bring him right back up to bat again.
Yes, they can. Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
It is. The whole thing's ridiculous. Look. Open letter to Rob Manfred from David Bash.
Yeah, me too.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Open letter from David Bash to Rob Manfred. If you want the game, if you want to attract more viewers, more younger viewers, you're going to have to be cool, not a circus. You're going to have to be more hip hop. I mean, if that's really what they want, I'm all for. Oh, hey, John. I'm all for, really kind of street type uniforms. Hey, if NWA could wear it, so can baseball players. If they want to have more bling outside, that's all fine too.
But where's your bling tonight? Where's your bling? That's what was missing. Gosh almighty.
We got it.
There we go. Okay, good. Whew, I thought maybe you had to sell it.
Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? What was I going to say? If you want the players to take off their hats at some point during the game to show their dreads or whatever, or the spiky hair or whatever the hell they're wearing, you can do that too. You're gonna have to do what basketball and football are doing. You're gonna have to be cool. Baseball is not cool to younger people. It's and there have to be other things that would help speed up the game a little bit. It's just too slow. Kids. Here's the problem. We have, in the last 20 or 30 years, we've developed so many different forms of entertainment that if you're a kid and your attention span's not that high, you're not going to be. You're only going to process things that are really, really compelling to you. And baseball needs to become more compelling to kids. It's just got to become cool. And there's no way that the Ghost Runner or the Golden Bat, that's crap. That's not going to work. No kids are going to go, oh my God, they're letting them bat twice. I'm going to watch baseball. No.
Now, I think they need like fluorescent balls, fluorescent orange, fluorescent green. They gotta bring the fences in another 10 feet so there's more home runs. It'll be a 14-11 game. Make it only 2 outs an inning instead of 3. Just make essentially a home run derby.
Do you remember who did want to use an orange baseball?
Was that Charles Finley?
It was Charlie Finley. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the early 70s, he wanted to use an orange baseball. He wanted there to be a designated runner, which I'm actually not opposed to. Mm-hmm. That might be something, if you want to do something cool. Another way to make baseball cool is emphasize speed in the game more than home runs. Basketball is so much about speed, and that's appealing to kids. if you're old and clueless, you might think, oh, home runs are the thing that they would like. No, they want to see speed. So yeah, I'm all for a designated runner. I'm trying to remember what else Finley wanted to do. I mean, none of his suggestions were ever taken. I mean, if somebody else had suggested them, maybe it would have worked. But Bowie Kuhn hated Charlie Finley.
Yeah,
so he wasn't going to do anything Finley suggested.
Yeah.
He had no chance. But yeah, anyway, so yeah,
that's tough. I mean, baseball. It's really hard to change that game significantly for the younger fans, like they can for basketball. Hockey. That's why hockey's never really done much. What surprises me is that the young fans love or are loving soccer, and soccer bores the ever loving bejesus out of me. I mean, I watching a 1-0 game and everybody's fascinated with it, and it just doesn't. Nothing really happens. I don't. If there's such a fascination for soccer, then why not the fascination for baseball? Baseball seems to be much more active than soccer.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And that's the number one sport in the world, soccer.
Well, in the world, yeah.
But it's growing in the U.S. Yeah, it's growing in the U.S. It's crazy.
Yeah, well.
Because I was watching basketball the other night, and I was Googling, why are they allowing this? But I just said, the refs aren't calling the carrying anymore. They're not calling traveling anymore. But it actually changed. I didn't know it. They changed the rules to say that carrying is essentially allowed, and they don't pay attention to traveling as much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, guys are taking 4 steps with the ball before they lay
LeBron isn't even dribbling. He gets a rebound and just runs down the court without dribbling, and the refs just stand there looking at him. And I go, what? But that's people like to see that.
They do.
But outside of that, I'm not sure what else. Baseball's already made it home run derby. I mean, they could juice the ball up even more so it flies further and make it a home run game.
I just don't know if kids would. I mean, maybe they would. I think they think speed is cooler than power, but
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I really don't. But the golden bat is not the answer. Unless they have to come up with an actual golden bat. And if they don't get a hit, then it comes out of their paycheck and they have to hand the golden bat to a fan who then can sell the gold and make money on it.
There you go. Or get some nice bling like this.
Mm-hmm. It's the bling bat, but boy, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, then I'm snacking on Papadelics.
Oh, I've not seen that. And I started a diet on Monday. Now I'm going to have to get these.
Crunchy mushroom chips. They are delicious. It's whole shiitake mushrooms.
Wow.
And that's what they look like. They look like a whole mushroom. And you go,
wow. I'll have to see if they're selling them out here. I haven't noticed them in stores yet, but I wasn't looking for them either. So.
And I don't think there's any hallucinogenic effects to them, but who knows? I've eaten 4 or 5. We'll see how the show goes.
Yeah, right.
All
right. Well, we can start playing some music if you're up for that.
Yeah, let's play some music. Halfway through, I got a little special video, more food related tonight, which is kind of cool. We'll go from there. What do you got going on?
Well, let's see. We'll play some current stuff before we do reissues. I actually do have a couple of reissue tracks, which I normally don't because of YouTube, but I think these, well, at least one of these for sure is not up there, and may never be. Anyway, let's see what we've got. Band who played IPU New York for the past couple of years, Joy Buzzer, has a new album, which I'm sure you like. Well, pleased to meet you. I don't know how the Replacements feel about this.
Right? Yeah,
it's going to be interesting, or maybe it already is. I don't know. I don't know if we've heard from them or what, but I do know that this album is a really fine power pop album, and Wicked Cool agreed because they signed them.
Yeah, nice.
And this album came out a few weeks ago, and it's got great tracks on it. And we'll play the opening track, something that a line that was attributed to Cary Grant, but apparently he never really said. Kind of like Played Again, Sam. Humphrey Bogart never actually said exactly those words.
Right.
So here's an opening track from "Pleased to Meet You" by Joy Buzzer, and it's called "Judy, Judy, Judy." Now that's what I call a hook.
Yeah.
You can't forget that chorus. This song, probably in the late 70s, this song could have been a hit.
Sure. Yeah.
No doubt about it. And little Steven recognized that, which is, I'm sure, part of the reason he signed them. Obviously, it's not going to be a hit given what today's youth listen to, but it is a hit among the power pop bands, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, and little Steven signed them, and they'll get a lot of airplay on Sirius XM, and which will translate into a lot more sales than had they just tried to be doing it by themselves.
Yeah, that is very true. The lead the songwriter of the band is Jed Becker. He's there on the left, and you might recognize that bass right next to him because we had her as a guest on material. She was KG Noble is also in this band. Her main gig is with Sly Boots, but now she's also with Joy Buzzer, which is excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're out of New York.
Yeah. They're out of New York, yeah, and they like I said, they did play IPO the last couple of years, and hopefully many more to come. All right, so you're wearing a cream shirt, which is very cool.
Boy, howdy.
Right, so I might as well I might as well play next the band whose name is almost CREEM, one letter off, Krelm.
Krelm.
This is a band from Vienna who played IPO Liverpool last year. Rena found them online, and man, I was blown away by the stuff that I heard. This is an album that just came out, only on vinyl. It's called Songs for Breakfast, and just a really, really cool power pop album. So we're going to play a song called Not For Me.
Don't you wanna see that this was meant to be? Life is but a dream, but it's a fantasy. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Could this be just what you need? Part of me, not for me. We are all victims of our past. Sure hope these things never last. Part of me, not for me. What's the point if you don't care? Don't you wanna see that you were made for me? Ain't always like it seems, but this is what I mean. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Could this be just what you need? Part of me, not for me. We are all victims of our past. Sure hope these things never last. Part of me, not for me. What's the point if you don't care? Although you might not keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Could this be just what you need? Part of me, not for me. We are all victims of our past. Sure hope these things never last. Part of me, not for me. What's the point if you don't care?
Good track.
Another track was with a really hooky chorus.
Yeah, big time. I like that.
Yeah,
one
these
a lot.
this young band really has it going on. I think I'm pretty sure you can find their album on their Bandcamp. It's CRELM, Krelm, from near Vienna. I don't know the exact city, but close enough.
Krelm. Okay, cool.
Yeah, good,
Like
good
that a lot.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. A band from Dundee, Scotland. And this is an album that came out on vinyl a few years ago, but our good friend Ray Gianchetti at Cool Cat decided that it was worthy to do a CD of it. This is the album. The band's called Kecker, and it's called rather cheekily Greatest Hits Volumes 1 and 2. Given that this is their first album, I don't think they had any hits, but they should have, as I think you'll hear here. And I love the title of this song, Dover Overland. Kecker. Here we go. Yeah, definitely hear some strong Matthew Sweet influence there, especially in the guitars.
Yeah.
Little bit of Big Star, little bit of their countrymen, teenage. Wait, who am I talking about now? Oh God, I've totally blanked.
And they're from where?
They're from Dundee, Wales. Teenage Fan Club. Sorry,
Teenage Fan Club. Okay, cool. Yeah, Wales.
Yeah, good, really good band. I hope they end up playing IPO next year. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
Up next is a good friend of ours. He's been a guest on our show, and everybody. A lot of people may not know his name, but they'll know the song, the big hit that he wrote and performed in the band Pilot. That would be Magic. But he has a brand new album called Communication, and it's David Payton, who we had on the program a few months ago. Really good guy, and this is a really good album. Here's a track called All I Need.
Nice.
Your love really threw me. Just look what you have done to me, and I'm no longer living by myself. I belong unto you, and I'll give everything to you. You're all I need, I don't need no one else. give everything to you. You're all I need. I don't need no one else. Ooh la la la, ooh la la la, ooh la la la. You're all I need. I don't need no one else. You're all I need. I don't need no one else.
Nice.
Man still knows how to write a catchy pop song.
Yeah. And his voice is better than ever. That's
No,
fantastic.
he still sings well. Not every track has him. Not every track. Hey, Rick, I'm glad you're here because we're going to be playing one of yours coming up soon.
Nice. We got a couple more tracks to play in a minute. Let's just take a little break here. I've got a just a little comedy levity, not really, but I had my MRI. You talk about your health problems. So I had my MRI on Monday, and results don't look too bad, except it's in doctor speak. I got to wait to talk to the doctor, but it seems like it's all good. But after I went to the MRI, I went over to the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. It's the big, old train station that turned into a lot of food places. And I was walking past this place that said, you got to try our famous, they almost look like meatballs, but they're little fried balls, and they call them Thanksgiving dinner in a ball. And evidently inside this fried little ball, supposed to be green beans, corn, mashed potato, turkey, and stuffing, and they fried it in like an arancini ball. I had to get a couple, bring them home and try it. Thanksgiving in a ball. So here's my little video of tasting the Thanksgiving in the ball from the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. I was at the Reading Terminal the other day and hadn't been there for a while, but there was this stand. I don't even remember the name of it. No ad placements, but but they had these little they're almost like meatball sizes, but they're kind of like a arancini kind of ball, a fried ball, and they said it's our famous Thanksgiving leftover ball of some sort, and evidently it's supposed to have like green beans, corn, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and turkey inside this fried ball. I came home and put it in the air fryer for a couple minutes, and I'm going to try it right now. I'm very curious to see what this even looks like. So, oh, look at that. It does. I see corn. I'm back out at part 2. As I said, I see corn. I see green beans. I see stuffing. I see turkey. I see potato. We're going to give this a shot. It's nice and hot out of my air fryer, but whew. Let's give it a shot. Holy cow. That's like a complete turkey dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, in a little fried ball. Oh, run to the Reading Terminal and get these. Holy cow, is that good.
Wow, better than turducken.
Better than turducken. I couldn't believe it. The lady behind the counter said, you got to try them. And I did, and I'm probably going to get back there later this week and see if they still have them.
Well, you know what? Why don't you send some to me so I can taste your balls?
My Schvetty balls?
Yeah.
No, it was really good. If you're near the Reading Terminal, you want to try something. I hadn't been there in a while because, COVID, I'm working mostly from home. And so, but Jefferson at the MRI is right next to the Reading Terminal. All new places, all new food places, just wonderful. But these things caught my eye. It was like,
those sound great. Those sound great. I mean, as I mentioned on Facebook, though, I started a diet yesterday. Monday. I had a great gobbler sandwich.
Nice. In Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah,
it's not. It wouldn't be on your diet, but it was pretty darn good.
I could probably handle one ball. Not so sure about two, but one.
Yeah, you probably could handle a ball or two
No.
in your day. People just tuning in are like, what? That's great. All right, back to the music. Let's play some more.
All right.
We're having a
let me
great
see
time.
where- Since Rick is here, we're going to skip to a reissue now. Although this actually is the first time that this album is issued, but I always call them reissues if the music is, more than like 10 years old. And that is certainly the case with this album. It's by a group called Brevity, and the album's called Home is Where Your Dog Is. I'm sure you subscribe to that notion, Mark.
That's right. Home
Yep.
is Chez's. Yep.
Now, the band was mainly made up of Mark Breyer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It might be Breyer. And the man who just checked in with us, Rick Vintonson, who's also a member of the band Athenor, who's had a few tracks on the IPO CD. And in fact, they did play IPO in Chicago a while ago. But this album was originally from 1970, and it was released by our good friend Roger Hudai, Think Like a Key record. And it's a really cool, kind of folky at times, kind of power poppy at times, but really good. The album that had been previously unreleased is here, 10 tracks, and then another 9 tracks of demos. But we're going to play a song that's from the album. And where did it go? There it is. It's called For Lack of a Smile. I really love this.
Long ago when I was young, they told me it was good to cry some. When the tears went away, I just ran out to play. Then when I was going to school, they told me I should follow one rule: little soldiers don't cry. So I held it inside. Seems the things that they told me before don't make no sense to me. I look for meaning in the words that I hear, but I'm baffled as I can be. Somehow I don't seem to see. Now that I've become a man, I've tried to do the best that I can. Tears for once in a while, just for lack of a smile. I know I've seen brighter days, but then again I know that someday I'll be smiling again. Though I don't know just when. Seems my life has to go on somehow, though I don't know why. As long as I can see some hope up ahead, I know that I'll get by, even though I still cry.
Yeah, very pretty
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
It definitely could have fit as a ballad on a Badfinger album for sure.
Yep. Yep.
Another band it reminds me of a bit when they do ballads is the Choir.
Oh yeah, yeah, I get it.
No,
I get
my
that.
pleasure, Rick. Thank you for recording it, and thank Roger, of course, for getting it out there for people to listen to. Yeah, if you go to the Think Like a Key website or Bandcamp page, you can get the album there, and you definitely should. It's excellent stuff.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
since I just showed a reissue, we're going to do
like it.
another one. This time we're not going to play anything because it's vinyl only, and I don't have any way of converting vinyl to an MP3. I should, but I don't.
Can you hum a few bars?
This album, also from 1970, just like Brevity, and had not been released. Yeah, it was. Thank you. Had not been released until now. And the band is called Brindle, and you may have heard their name before.
Yeah.
It's kind of a super group in a way. Carla Bonoff, Wendy Waldman, Andrew Gold, and Kenny Edwards, all who were famous for their own music. They were a band in 1970, and they recorded this really lovely album. It sounds, I hear Fleetwood Mac, the male-female thing. I hear some CSN as well. Little Fairport Convention when they get, kind of folk rocky. It's really excellent stuff. I wish I could play something. It was co-produced by Chuck Plotkin, who eventually produced some Springsteen albums. The band actually did get back together and recorded a couple of albums, one in 1995, which you can find on CD very easily, and then one from 2001. I think the 2001 album doesn't have Andrew Gold on it. But Wendy Waldman is a Facebook friend, and I sent her a message. She may not even be aware that this came out. It's on a label called High Moon, and it would have been on A&M at the time. And so the reissue has a really nice replica of the A&M, the brown A&M label from which was on their records in the early 70s.
And that was originally when? When was that originally put out?
1970, just like Brevity.
70. Wow. Okay.
So we have two previously unreleased albums from 1970. You should be able to find this one. Funny enough, I bought it on Amazon, and now they're out, but hopefully they'll get more. But it's around other places, I would imagine.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's really good. Let's go back to a current release. Our friends at Big Stir released a really nice album by this band, Librarians with Hickeys. How to Make Friends by Telephone. One of the main men of this band is a guy named Ray Carmen, and he's from Cleveland, but he's no relation to Eric. I actually knew of Ray Carmen a long time ago. In 1990, he released, around the late 80s, early 90s, he released a few cassettes, and I really loved them. Now it was great to find out that he's back doing this kind of stuff. I think Ray Carmen played IPO Cleveland the one year you were with me.
Yeah, I believe
the one year that we were there. I think 2010, or 2009. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is on Big Stir. It's real good. Here's a track called Out of Your Hair. Yes, you're right.
Say you love me, but you love him more. Well, that's okay. I know the score. There's a feeling inside that I just can't touch. I must be in love, cause it hurts so much inside. It's plain to see that I'm a bother to you. I hung on too long. What else can I do? I'll bow out now while I know you still care. I'll make it easy for you, I'll stay out of your hair. fell for it all and made a fool of myself. I look in your eyes and I can see you're in pain. I know you don't want to do this again. I have no right to feel this way. I've been holding my breath, waiting for this day to come. We've talked all night and there's no more to say. If that's how you feel, I won't stand in your way. It's hard to let go, but I gotta be fair. If that's the way you want it, I'll stay out of your head. Still walk away. If you ever need me, I'll always be there. Until that time comes, I'll stay out of your head. Out of your
I'll tell you that jangle and
Yep.
that lo-fi production reminds me so much of the really cool college radio sound of the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody had told me this was some band from the 80s who were played on college radio, I'd have believed it immediately. But
Well, tell me that opening riff doesn't remind you of "It Don't Come Easy," though.
oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, the whole album's really good. Librarians with Hickeys, How to
Yes,
Make
indeed.
Friends by Telephone.
Good
I
stuff.
wish more people would use the telephone for actually speaking to people.
Those days are gone, man.
Those days are gone.
Speaking to people, man.
Let's go back to a reissue here. This is a really cool psychedelic pop band whose album was just reissued on Gerson Records, which is definitely one of my favorite reissue labels. It's a band, Creation of Sunlight, and the album is called Sunlight. And like I said, really good psychedelic pop, kind of like Strawberry Alarm Clock, for example.
Oh, nice.
And I want to play the opening track of this. Fortunately, this came with a download card, so I was able to upload it here on the Streamyard site. I'm not going to tell you the name of this song, but I have more than one reason for loving it. And when you hear the first lyric, the first word in the lyrics, you'll know exactly why. Here we go.
David bends your mind with tales of castles in the sky and oceans made of lemon pies and all the things you know he'd like to try. He says when he grows up he's bound to be a king and makes himself a magic cake with just a piece of string. Whoa, David knows what David sees, and David knows what David pleases, 'cause make believe is reality to a child, to a child.
David's touched the moon and been around the world, suspended by balloons, and keeps a piece of sunlight hidden in his room. He hopes he's gonna slay a dragon someday soon. He says there's lots of boys to play with up on Mars, shoot marbles in the Milky Way, and trade off baseball cards. Oh, David knows what David sees, and David knows what David pleases, 'cause make believe is reality to a child, to a child. Visions of reality, but David, just like you and me, life is but a fantasy. You'll only let it be. Whoa, whoa, let it be. Whoa, whoa, David knows what David sees, and David.
I love the ending too.
Well,
wow.
Obviously, I have a lot to say about this song. There aren't any other songs. Oops, there aren't any other songs that I know of that have David in the title, and I'm not counting as Dave there by Cheech and Chong either. This is goofy. But the late 60s was a time, and this is something that you really didn't get much after the late 60s. But the late 60s was a time where men would sing about other men in a non-sexual way. But that's a lost art. Either they would sing about other men and have their name in the title, and this one is just called David. But sometimes they would sing about, just everyday people, like the grocery man, or something like that. I think the band Teddy and the Pandas had a song called Crossing Man, who just told people when to cross the street.
Right.
So it was definitely a time for that kind of thing. Do you know of any songs with Mark in the title? If anyone listening does, let us know.
I can't think of any, and I would think that I would remember that.
You would, yeah,
if they did, but
I can't think of any either. Then there may be
one
one
Bungalow Mark. No, it was Bungalow Bill. I don't. Top of my head, I can't think of any.
Yeah, even the Beatles had a song about a man. But what was I going to say?
But that's very good, though. That has a very
it's Strawberry Alarm Clock all the way to me.
Very Strawberry Alarm Clock. I get a bit of a Love American style Cal Sills kind of thing.
Interesting.
Vocally, as I was listening to it's amazing how many of our genre, we call it power pop or melodic pop or whatever it may be, these bands that sound so much like they're right out of 1967 through 69, maybe even early 70s. It's amazing the influences that have to be there with this sound,
Well, this one was out of 1969, I believe.
Well, that's 69. That's the original.
68
Okay.
or 69. Let me see.
But many other bands we've been listening to.
Guess what? 1970.
Mm.
But this album had been issued, but still, yet a third
Yeah.
reissue from 1970.
Great stuff. And where's that? What label's that on?
It's on Gerson,
Gerson.
Guerssen.
Wow.
They do the nicest reissues. They reissued all the Shakers albums, a band from Uruguay that sounded like the Beatles.
There you go,
Oh,
Tim.
is that right? Would
Well, turn off my mind, relax and float downstream?
would they have actually said Mark in the lyrics?
No.
Maybe they would want to be like Dylan, for example, where Dylan had so many song titles that weren't in any of the lyrics. But yeah, Gerson makes the most beautiful reissues.
Nice.
They're worth. If there's any reissue that's really worth the money, it's them above everybody else. And
Do you know where that label's out of? Where are they out of?
they're out of Spain.
Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have a Bandcamp page. I know you can buy stuff off of their website. I'm trying to remember how I got this. Oh, maybe I got it at Amoeba or somewhere like that. But yeah, it's a really good album. And yeah, and that's another thing. Like women have male guys' names in their song titles at way less than men have girls' names in their titles.
Oh, definitely.
That? I'm not definitely percentage wise, even not absolute numbers, but yeah, for whatever reason, women like to be a little more abstract with their titles, even if they're writing about a certain person who they could name in the title, they just don't. While men do it all the time.
Yep. That's true.
When they write about a woman, for example, fictional or otherwise. So that's why it's hard. I mean, David and Mark have been very common names.
Oh yeah.
Or at least they certainly were when we were growing up. Yet, you just don't hear songs with. I mean, that's the only David one I know, and we don't know if there are any Mark. So
we're not having anybody chime in with any Mark's name of the title, but that's a good question. I have to start Googling that after the show.
Yeah, I'd really like to know.
I really don't know any. Yeah, don't know any.
Let's play two more tracks and then we'll be done.
Loving it. Great to hear.
This one is another
old stuff. Yeah.
This is another LP only. It's from a band called Mount Misery. I assume MT period is Mount, but so I could be wrong. This is a band from the northeast UK. It's I don't remember the name of the town, but it's kind of a beach town in the northeast, not all that far from Newcastle. And this is another really good pop album. It's called Love in Mind, and here's a track from it called Movies.
Feel like I'm stuck in a movie. You were meant to be in the scene, but they had to cut you out. You were nowhere to be found. Wasn't good anymore. I wouldn't watch it at all. Maybe I'm not the purest test, but I couldn't
obviously very teenage fan clubby there.
Yep. Very cool. Cool track. Yeah.
Just absolutely beautiful. It's weird. I think I read a review of this on somebody, maybe Dennis Pylon's site. I'm not sure, but I contacted the band and told them about IPO and everything, and asked if they would send me the record, and they did. But then when I asked them about playing IPO, they never responded. That's kind of strange, but I'll follow up with them. I really would love to have this band in Liverpool.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah,
Good
so-
track.
Yeah, you can find that album, I'm sure, on their Bandcamp. Misery.
Not Misery. Yep.
So check it out.
Good
All right,
stuff.
the last thing we'll play, and this is very much in his honor, Glenn Laughlin, who sadly passed away a few days ago. This is the album he was able to finish. And, I know he was really happy to have finished it. And we, too, are happy about it. It's called Half-Life. And he actually wrote unfortunately, his hands were too weak to write legibly. But he wrote something to the effect of, "Hi, David, thanks for the support of the Cherry Blue Storms." And after that, I can't really read what he said.
Wow.
So I don't know what Deborah, his wife, plans to do with this album in terms of releasing it. I think she probably will, because Glenn would have wanted it that way. I'm sure he'd like in as many hands as possible. So we'll play a track from it here. And it's not about Emmy Rossum, at least I don't think it is, but it's called Fiona. So here we go.
Lately sun don't shine through our tattered blinds at home. The dust that shimmered in that sinking sun, invisible to our eyes. Now the pale moon comes, Fiona. Fiona. Take me where you go. When you look away, is there someone there whose dreams are lit in your eyes and whose dreams you share? Fiona. And we rock our fragile darling till she sleeps, she never weeps. Oh no. And we rock our fragile darling till she sleeps, she never weeps.
Yeah, that's a cool ending. Yeah, really nice track. A lot of the album are, most of the album's not quite as up tempo as that song, but this is another one that has that very familiar '80s production. You could definitely imagine that the song had come from that period.
Yeah.
It's also co-produced by Earl Mankey, who is a member of Sparks and produced a hell of a lot of stuff over the years.
Sure.
Like I said, once I find out from Deborah what she plans to do with the album, I'll certainly post about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's such a tragedy that he left us so young, but I'm glad he left us with this, and hopefully he's looking down upon us now and smiling because we played his record. The album is called Half-Life, and again, I will definitely keep it posted, and anyone who's interested in purchasing the album, you'll know where.
Yeah, cool.
All right, and last thing, I'm not going to play anything from here because no doubt that YouTube police would arrest us. But band from the 90s that a lot of people know, the High Llamas. Llamas have reissued these 2 albums. Actually, they may have reissued more than 2, but these are the 2 I really liked. Gideon Gay and Hawaii. And I would imagine, I haven't looked, that there were probably UK issues of these back then. Certainly not the US. So this will be the first US release on vinyl of these albums. And I mean, anyone who likes Brian Wilson solo would also love the High Llamas. Sean O'Hagan was definitely a Brian Wilson acolyte, and it's all over this. And I mean, these albums were really popular at the time, and deservedly so. Oh, you might have the CDs in there, yeah.
I have them somewhere. I mean, I don't know if they're over here in this rack, but I've got the CDs.
Well, these are coming out on Friday.
Nice.
And they're on Universal, so I'm sure that distribution will be great, and people will be able to find them at their local shop. So there you have it. That's
a lot of great music there tonight. A lot of great music you played.
Wow. I try. There are a lot of. I mean, there's so much great music out there, and if only people would realize that and continue to support the artists that are doing this kind of stuff, because we're very blessed to be in a time period where people can record albums on their own and they can make them sound good if they know what they're doing, and just a lot of talent out there being able to express themselves. So
and also a time for a lot of these reissues too. We get to hear all these reissues come out in great sounding either vinyl or CD. So
speaking of which, have you gotten that Beatles '64 mono box yet?
No, I have not. I've been so tied up with so much that I haven't even thought about it. But I've been reading a lot of great reviews on it.
I mean, the real Beatles geeks, of course, they're always going to have issues with everything.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it is, the labels are really doing the best they can, and they are major labels, so they do need to market them as efficiently as they can. So the fact that something is a fold down rather than actual mono, just don't worry about it. These are albums that a lot, anyone in the US, just about anyone in the US grew up with these Beatles albums, not with the UK ones. And I'm not here to disparage the UK ones; they're great, but I mean, that box set is definitely a testament.
Yeah, I have to get my hands on it. I just life takes over and you're.
No, I know.
It's just crazy. But
I know. I'm just a bit rankled by some of the few objections that we're getting, but they sound really good and they look even better. I mean, the 180 gram and the jackets are in really, really thick cardboard. Or whatever material they're made out of. They're really well done. Yeah. I'd recommend it. Anyway, that's about it for music this week.
Cool.
Next time it's just just us. I'll probably have some other stuff to play, but
Yeah,
I that's what I wanted to do today. So
that was great. I love when we do this. I love when we listen to new stuff or even new old stuff. Because there's so much out there, and you're fortunately get your hands on it and are able to put this out there for the artists and for people to hear. It's great. I just love what we do.
and hopefully people who are listening / watching, hopefully you like what we've played, and some of you will even go out and get some of it.
And if you're listening live and you forget what it is, go back to the archive, go watch the archive of this show, and I'm scrolling along the bottom who we've been playing, so you can always see who it was. So that's the nice thing about the archiving over on YouTube here. So
It really is.
Yeah, listen to it again. Yeah, it's all good. All right, what are you up to, man? How you feeling? You think we can stump you tonight? Or are you a little tired?
I am definitely tired. I had a very early morning with the with a pain doctor. Well, most of it was just getting there. I mean, it's a 14-mile drive, and it took me about an hour and a half.
It's crazy.
LA traffic in the morning. What are you going to do?
Yeah, no, we could. Up to you.
I may very well be stumped today, but maybe I won't. We'll see.
Well, if that sounds like a yes to me, so you know how we have to start this off. We gotta put that up, and everybody's got to dance along to Stump the Bash.
Stump the Bash, Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash, Stump the Bash.
If you want to play along, well, I don't know that everyone knows your number, but for anyone who does, if you want to text an answer to Mark, by all means, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it out publicly here, but anybody that does know it, feel free to text along, or
just don't make a comment publicly.
No public comments, or else David gets credit for it. But if you've never seen it before, Stump the Bash is kind of easy. We got the years 1965 to 1975. It's an 11-year period. David randomly selects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those years. Could be whatever year he feels like it. We give a clue. We give the first clue. If he gets it on the first clue, he gets 5 points, all the way down to the 5th clue for 1 point. Or if he doesn't get it at all, he gets stumped for 0. David needs to pick up 15 points, which is an average of 3 points per year he picks, in order not to be stumped. Tonight, and I've said this before, and David has completely wiped the floor with it, but I've said it before, tonight is a difficult one.
Oh, boy.
I've said it before, and I have been completely wrong before. So we'll see where it goes. The chart position for tonight, 76.
Okay, well, that is a higher number, which means that the hits aren't quite as big. There's a lot more, there's a lot more potentials to choose from. So it does make it a little tougher.
Or they might have stayed at the top of the charts for a short period of time and then fell.
That can happen, yeah.
So that's how it's played. David's going to give us his first year. Some of these clues are tough because some of this stuff, it's hard to get. It was hard to get clues with it. So
yeah, no, I get that.
We see with, especially with number 76, we see where this goes. But David, with that said, we've got a lot of people tuning in all of a sudden for Stump the Bash. Let's see where it goes. What is the first year you're going to choose?
Well, I guess we'll start. Oh, thank you, Jim. All right, we're going to start with 1967.
All right, let me back up here in my magical electronic notebook here. We're going to go back to 1967. Remember, this is chart position number 76 from 1967. That's where it ended up the year. This track was written by George Davis and Lee Diamond. The song ranks number 391 on Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest songs of all time.
Oh, boy. What number did you say?
Number 391 of Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs of all time.
Away.
Yeah, is that? I mean, had it been 390, you probably would have known it. But
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
written by
Rolling Stone is not likely to pick something like Little Green Apples by O.C. Smith. So it's probably something. It's probably something cool on some level. Either it's a rocker or a really cool kind of soft pops
right.
tune. But
But that-
obviously I have no real idea. So
No.
I'll
No.
just take a stab in the dark. If I get this, then
That I'm walking. You're going to see me exit stage left.
yeah, I must be a warlock if I can get this. Let's just go be silly and say Up, Up, and Away by the Fifth Dimension.
It is not, but I love that track, Fifth Dimension, Up, Up, and Away. All right. You did not get the 5-pointer, but you're still in plenty of breathing room. However, it
I
doesn't
don't
get a
know if
whole lot
anyone could have
easier.
gotten that 5-pointer, although maybe.
All right. Clue number 2 for 4 points. This track was released in November of 1966 on the Parlo Records label.
Oh my God.
Backed with the track Why Worry.
Holy crap.
The only real clue you got there is Parlo Records.
It's not Parlophone.
I think it might have been a subsidiary of Parlophone called Parlo. P-A-R-L-O.
Shoot. Well, I don't know. Never heard of it.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
All right. Well, yeah, no. I was thinking of a particular band, but they always wrote their own material. Well, what were the names of the writers again?
George Davis and Lee Diamond.
George Davis in the Baseball Hall of Fame, not the same guy.
I think it was.
Well, then he would probably have been about 100 years old when he wrote it, because he's an 1800s player. Let's see.
This is a hard one. This is a hard one to get clues with. So you picked a hard year right out of the bat.
Hard Year by the Hollies. No, since I was thinking, I was actually focusing on them, and then I realized, no, they write their own stuff. At least most of their tunes they wrote. By that time, they were writing everything. Parlo, Jesus.
Yeah, Parlo, Jesus. Tough.
Nah, that wasn't. Nah, I don't think. So the Parlo was released in the U.S. that way?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
U.S. release Parlo.
Jesus Christ. Trying to think of. I don't know. Don't know.
All right, let's go to clue number 3 for 3
This is
points.
looking like a zero, folks.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. This track was covered by the group Heart in 1980. Record World said Ann Wilson's sensitive vocals gives the song a woman's point of view.
Wow. I don't. That's one Heart album I don't own. I like their earlier stuff. God, what did they? Well, we know it's not a woman who did the original.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, John Borak is checking in saying,
Oh,
"I know it."
there you go.
John, you can text me your answer and play along. We'll see how good you are.
Wow, I know he probably does know it.
He probably does.
Well, I don't. Let me just think.
Yeah, tough one. This one doesn't give you much though, clue-wise.
No, that if I had the album and I knew it, I would probably get it now, but I don't.
I think the Heart clue might have given it to John Borak and Tim Allen.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it did, but it's not working for me. I don't think.
All right, John Borak just checked in, and he did get it correct.
Jordan, if you really want to guess, Don't say it.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips is not correct, Jordan. But
Jordan,
I love your effort.
Don't post your guesses because
Yeah, I love it.
wowee.
John Borek out of the gates with three points.
Really trying to think here. Yeah, I'm not getting it.
All right. David has to move on to clue number 4 for 2 points if he gets this. And this isn't going to give you a whole lot more, but maybe. This track peaked at number 2 on Billboard, just behind the Monkees' I'm a Believer.
Wow. Peaked at number 2 obviously didn't last too long.
Didn't last too long. Yeah.
What peaked at number 2?
For 2 points.
My brain isn't feeling it today. But it peaked at number 2.
Yeah.
Just behind I'm a Believer, you said?
Just behind I'm a Believer. Yeah. It's not giving you much. And honest to God, the last clue is, I think the big clue was the Covered by Heart in 1980.
Yeah, obviously that helped. And maybe once I hear it, I'll realize that I did know it.
This last clue is not going to give you much either. So
all right, I don't know.
All right, final clue for 1 point, or it's a big 0 on the boards. This version was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2015.
The song was?
The song was, yeah, the Grammy Hall of Fame.
I'm not going to waste any more time.
All right.
It's a 0 for me.
It's a 0 for 1967. The track, John Borek got it right. Tell It Like It Is, Aaron Neville. Aaron Neville.
Yeah, I may have known at one time that Hart did that, but it was totally forgotten.
All right. You can make a comeback. Very next one, you'll get it right out of the gate, but
I hope so.
This is at 76 is a tough
Trying
one.
1973.
Let's get back closer to your wheelhouse of 72, 73. David's going with 1973. Chart position, Tim Allen. Yep. Oh, Allen. Tim checks in with 3 points as well. Nice, Tim.
Right, good. Yeah, keep playing, both of you.
1973. All right. This track was originally written by Bobby Freeman in 1958. Bobby Freeman.
1958, huh?
Yeah, Bobby Freeman. Had a big hit with it in 1958.
Oh, now you're telling me he had a big hit with it?
He had a hit with it in 1958, yep.
Yeah, God.
So obviously it's a cover.
I should know that, and I don't. Oh, man. Let me think. Yeah, I just don't feel the gears turning today.
Yep. Oh, wait. Yep, John Borek with a guess, but it's incorrect, Mr. Borek. But he had a guess.
So now, if you get an incorrect guess, you can't guess again until the next clue.
Right.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman had a hit with it later.
David, what was his big hit? Oh, wait, no.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Do You Want to Dance by Bette Midler?
Ladies and gentlemen, David Bash just got 5 points on 1973's Do You Want to Dance, Bette Midler. And that then shuts John Borek out.
See, we don't know what points they would have gotten. That's no
exactly, but that's the way it works when you go mano a mano. If you get it and you announce it, then
you know what? I would need to text you.
Yeah,
in order to do that.
But we're not officially playing a mano tonight. They're checking in to see if they get it right as well. So there's 5 points.
I pulled
Look at that. Do You
put
Want to
that one
Dance?
down.
Bette Midler, chart position year ending 1973 at 76.
And she, she slowed it down.
Yep. She slowed it down very much so. Yep.
I really like her version.
Yep.
You know what other song she does, and John Borak probably knows this. She does a great version of "You're My Favorite Waste of Time," which is the Marshall Crenshaw.
Oh, she does. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it on some radio station. I bought the 45.
Oh wow.
Back in, I think hers is in '83, but it's a really good version. I mean, especially for you think about what her bailiwick usually was, which is standards of
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know if she liked the song or her producer said do this or what, but it's good. John, do you have that single? You should definitely check it out. Maybe it's on probably on YouTube.
Nice.
I really liked it.
One thing I found interesting, one of the clues I had was that in 1985, someone named Ulla Hedwig did a sound-alike version of the song for a Mercury Sable car commercial. And Bette Midler successfully sued the Ford Motor Company for using a voice impersonator without her permission, and it got shut down.
Wow. That would
Isn't
not
that
have
something?
given me anything. Bobby
But that's
Freeman-
interesting little tidbit.
No, it is. Yeah.
All right.
right.
Well, now you're back to an average of 2.5, so you're crawling back into it. You got 5 points. That one. That was big. That was huge.
I have to be fair. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a question of fairness, but I try to make it even in terms of wheelhouse, not wheelhouse.
Right.
So
right now, you also got to look at your point standing.
Yeah.
You got 5 points after 2. So
no, we're gonna go back to a non-wheelhouse now. We'll go with 1968.
All right, let's get the magical notebook going back to 1968. Again, chart position number 76. I like this one. One of my favorite songs as a kid. I could just put it out there right now.
Oh, wow.
In the 60s. Jordan Oakes, wait a second. Got to pull this up. Can you name a Canadian woman who covered Some Sing, Some Dance and Lovin' You Ain't Easy?
I think that's Pagliara as opposed to Pagliaro.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding. I have no idea who did it. Pagliaro was a French Canadian who had hits, not hits.
Yeah.
Those are his two great power pop songs. There's not much else after that.
Yeah. All right, 1968 chart position number 76. Here's clue number 1. Written by Shel Silverstein. The original was released in 1962 on his album called Inside Folk Songs.
Yeah, Shel Silverstein used to write a lot of cool stuff. Oh, Lisa Burns. Oh, yeah. I think. No, I don't. I think I have a single of hers, but not the album that those are on. All right. Well, now I have to focus back on this.
So this song was written by Shel Silverstein and originally released in 1962 on his album Inside Folk Songs.
Trying to remember what he wrote. Yeah, I mean, Shel Silverstein was a really scary-looking bald dude, but he wrote a lot of stuff for children.
Tons of children's stuff. Of course, Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show.
Right.
Did a lot of his tracks. But I had forgotten about this song completely. I had to go on Spotify and play it just to go, what was it? And then it just came all washing back to me like, oh my God. I almost wept at how much I remembered.
Oh, wow.
The song.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know it just by the Shel Silverstein clue, so I have to move on.
All right. Clue number 2 for 4 points. This version released in 1968 on Decca Records, backed with Black Velvet Bond.
On Decca, hey, all right. Well, I know a few people who were on Decca, I think. Yeah, but he was on Durham. No, and then I'm thinking of another band, but Yeah, he couldn't have written that. Who else is on Decca? Let me
I
see.
didn't. I had not even remembered that he wrote this song, or maybe I didn't even know.
Let me see. Who else was on Decca besides? Shoot. Yeah, it's not. Again, I don't feel the gears turning, which
Yep. I can see the smoke is not coming out of your ears like normal.
no. Damn. So what else? I'm trying to think of my Decca albums, and there were a few of them, but probably not the one that's. All right, I'm not getting it. I don't know.
All right. Meatloaf signed to Double Decca.
Oh boy.
All right, we go to clue number 3 for 3 points. The lyric to this song also appears printed as a poem based on the biblical tale Noah's Ark in Shel Silverstein's book Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Oh, okay. I think I know it now. I know this group is on Decca, and I know which song this
Got to get the song and the group. Yep.
It's Unicorn by the Irish Rovers.
There's 3 points for green alligators and long neck geese.
Yeah.
And according to the song, the creature literally missed the boat by not boarding Noah's Ark in time to be saved, or it would still exist today. But one of my favorite songs, The Unicorn by the Irish Rovers.
I don't think that was. What was its? I don't know if you have it there, but what was its peak position? I don't
The
think it
peak
even was the top
position
10.
at number 7 on
Oh,
Billboard.
it did. All right. I thought it was like 12, but okay.
Peaked at number 7. But hey, you came back with 3 points, so you've upped the average a tiny bit. You're at 8. You've got
So I
2
need
songs
7,
to go.
I need
You need 7.
All right.
You need
well,
7. So
now
knowing
time
that,
to pick- now time to pick a bailiwick here.
you
Well,
hope.
since we played two or played and talked about 2 reissues from 1970,
Tim's up to 6.
but and you might have had more, Tim, if you were able to go on. So who knows? But anyway, let's go with 1970.
1970. Have you eaten alligator? You have to cook it in a crock pot.
Yeah.
Jordan's all over it
Jordan,
tonight. I need one of those. But
I'm not going to be able to concentrate if you keep coming up with these things.
All right, 1970 chart position, year ending number 76. This was a track co-written by Stevie Wonder, Syreeta Wright, and Lee Garrett.
Well, yeah, we're talking about 1970 here. So the question is, could it have been one of Stevie's hits, or was it another Motown act? So now I have to think about that. Well, Stevie had one huge hit that year. I gotta think it did better than 76 because it was top 10 on the WABC Heavy 100.
Right.
But I'm trying to think, did he have anything else that might have been that big? But let's think of some other Motown acts. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Stevie Wonder, as we know from the last Stump the Bash, wrote Tell Me Something Good.
Right.
And they were not on Motown. But let's see, what other big...
Lee Garrett, not Leif Garrett.
Let's see. Let's see who else. Well,
was made for dancing.
The Jackson 5 had 4 very big hits, but one of them would have probably hit in 1969. So it could be that one. I don't know if he wrote that though. Let's see what other. Then of course there's the Temptations had a very big hit, but probably bigger than 76. The Four Tops had a song that might have been number 76, but it doesn't really sound like a Stevie Wonder type song. But that
Mhm.
that one seems to be. Who else was on Motown back then? Who would have had? Well, we'll start with this. A Stillwater Love by the Four Tops.
It is not.
Okay.
Jordan can never resist the temptations. It is not. So we didn't get the
No.
5-pointer, but you're still in the game looking at a 4-pointer. This track was released in June of 1970 on the VIP label.
All right. I
Backed
know
with Together We Can Make Such Sweet Music.
I believe I know it. It's, if I'm right, it's definitely one of my favorite songs from my favorite soul group. My favorite soul group ever. Could it be "It's a Shame" by the Spinners?
It's a shame that you said that because that is correct. For 4 points.
Why is that
You
a shame
are-
that I said it?
I'm just
You want me stumped. That's it.
But you know what? You started off with 0, and now you're looking at 12 points. You only need 3. You only need the average in order not to be stumped tonight. And I think right there, that's pretty impressive, even if we threw in the towel, stopped, and closed the show right now. But you have to do the 5th one. You have to.
This is one. Do I?
So which is the year? What year?
Do I? Yeah. Well, somebody's got to do it. Do I get ballsy and go for a year in the '60s, or do I play it a little safer? Well,
Depends on how cocky you are tonight.
on days where I thought my brain was working well, I would definitely go for a '60s year. But this isn't one of those days. So, all right, let's try 1972.
1972. All right. You've wrapped it up easy with this one, buddy. Here we go.
I have.
Chart position 76 in 1972. Cashbox said, "The Horn Rockers paint a scene of inner city greenery that's sure to grow to top 10 by summer's end."
Oh, well, I got to think. If it's a horn band, there's one that comes to mind. The only one at that point who are having any hits. And the greenery would also lead me to think of this particular track. So I'm going to go with, if you guys want to, you know what? I'm going to text this to you, and then you guys can see if you can figure it out. If I'm wrong, you can tell me and we go on. But
Borak said, "Could this be any easier?" And he's laughing.
I guess he's got it.
Rick,
Sure it could be good. I'm sure it could be easier than that.
Rick says he's at 0.
All right, I'm gonna type it.
Oh, the soul band, the fidget spinners. There, they're calming. All right.
Here we go. I'm texting it to you.
Yep.
Did John text it to you too?
John texted. John has it correct at 5 points. David, you have it correct at 5 points. Should we give it away for anybody else? I don't think anybody else.
If you guys, you want? No, let's keep reading clues and see how well Tim does on it.
Well, David has not been stumped as he's at 17 points after 5. I thought there was going to be a lot.
But
starting off with 0.
I did play it kind of safe.
But clue number 2, for anybody still trying to think about it, this track was released in July of 1972 on the Columbia label, backed with the track Alma Mater.
Yeah. Well.
Yep. And if that didn't give it to you, then clue number 3, the songwriter recalls that he wrote the track.
Hold on. Don't say anything yet. Tim, do you know it?
Tim, do you know it?
You can, and since you're the only, well, I guess a few people are playing, but if you know it, say it.
Yeah, go ahead. Type it in if you know it. We'll see if anybody chimes in first.
John Borak was getting cocky there.
Yeah, he got it right away.
Any easier?
I think I might have had it at 5 points, but not sure. What do you think it is, Tim?
Well, go ahead and say it. You probably did. I mean, now, granted, that was a pretty easy clue, but
It was. I'm going to say of the 11 years you could have picked, this was probably the easiest.
well, you know what? If you had kept the, yes, you were correct.
There it is.
If you had-
Saturday in the Park.
If you had kept
Chicago.
the horn band out of it, it probably would have presented more of a challenge.
Yeah, I could have put that. But you know,
But
one
you
of
were
the
quoting.
one of the clues was this songwriter recalls that he wrote the track as he was looking at footage from a film he shot in Central Park. So Park was in that clue.
Yeah, well, that might
You
have.
know.
If I didn't know the song,
Yeah.
I don't think Central Park. I wouldn't have focused on it, and it wouldn't have helped.
I think horn rockers probably.
The horn rocker, because at that point, Blood, Sweat, and Tears wasn't having any more hits, and Lighthouse had a few hits, but nothing big enough.
Right. Yeah.
So that's pretty. And Chase, unfortunately, by that point, had gotten into an airplane crash.
Yeah, Hava Nagila, that ranks number 2 after Hava Second Helping.
Yeah,
So
right.
you know, it's true.
Or
Well, David, that was Stump the Bash for the first week of December here in 2024. And it started off shaky with 0 points.
0, yeah.
And I knew you were struggling. I knew this was going to be a tough, but you picked a couple of things that you had a good chance at. And
Well, I
the
picked years that I know
1973 with Do You Want to Dance with Bette Midler.
That's
Just,
the one I'm proudest of. Because,
Yes.
although I really should have known that Bobby, and now that I think of it, I do know, I have heard his version.
Yeah.
But of course, I also think of the Beach Boys, who did a great version on their Today album.
Oh yeah. Yeah, great version. But but we didn't stump you. But we'll save the other 6 tracks maybe for
Next
a
time
future.
we can do the other years.
And they're pretty good, pretty tough. So
I'm sure they are.
but that was a lot of fun. And we've been sitting here yakking and listening to music, having a good time for an hour and 45 minutes. So another Material Issues has flown by, having such a good time with this too.
And I have to fly over to the restroom here. Forgive me.
You're not flying so fast. It takes you a while to get out of the chair.
And it hurts. Ow.
Get a job, David. Tim said. No, it's good. That was a lot of fun tonight. We listened to a lot of great tracks. Stump the Bash was really good. I'll wait till David gets back and we'll talk about a couple of guests we have upcoming. I know on December 17th, that's an open date for right now. We may just invite anybody that likes to hang out with us to get the link and be live with us on the week before the actual Christmas. I think Hanukkah starts on Christmas Day this year. So we got Hanukkah and Christmas all kicking off around the 25th, obviously, for many reasons. But Wednesday, Christmas Day, the 25th, we will not. We're ready. Yeah. Who's the house band? Who's the house band, Jordan? Maybe wait till David gets back to talk about that. But Wednesday, the 12/25, which is Christmas Day, we will not be doing a Material Issues. We're going to actually take a day off. I think that might be the first week in 182 weeks where we didn't do a show. Yeah, Tim, let's talk about coming out on the on 12/17, and we'll, if you want to do it, we'll send you the invite link if you have the phone or iPad or laptop and you want to join us live. I think that might be fun to do, unless we pick up a guest in the interim, and we have a guest on the 17th. But right now, there is no guest schedule. But I think that would be a fun thing to do. Anybody who would like to pop up and join us on screen and just talk about some music and things, that'd be fun. So we'll kick that around. We might be able to make that happen. But as I said, this was episode number 182, which is essentially 182 straight weeks. Wasn't always on a Wednesday. Sometimes it was a Tuesday. Sometimes it was a Thursday. But we haven't missed a week, I don't think, in what, over 3 1/3 years. But December 25th, Christmas Day, we will take that day off. And David, am I right? Doesn't Hanukkah start on The 25th, the same day as Christmas?
Ow, 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 ow. That's
David
what I've been
must have-
going through.
He must have stubbed
It
his
is.
toe.
Hanukkah's very late this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts on the 25th, the same day as Christmas. So I'm telling everybody, we're taking that day off. And for probably the first week that we haven't done a show in 182 weeks, which is kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess
We might do a show.
we could
another
do a
day
show
that
on a different day, the day after.
We might. Well, we're just taking that day off. So maybe we'll do the next day after that. But I was telling people are still here on the 17th of December. We don't have a guest. Maybe it would be fun if people like Tim Allen would like to just join us live. I'll send him a link. He can pop up and
Hey, why not?
chat and have a good time.
Yeah, anybody who wants. What's the limit in terms of? Is it 10 or?
I think it's like 12. I think it's 12. We had 12 people in here at one time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, when we're ready to do it, we can both post, like, if you want to be on with us, let us know ahead of time. We'll send you the link and we can just talk about whatever.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But let's just talk about what we got going on up to that point. Next Wednesday, which is the 11th of December already. Holy cow. We got a fantastic guest for those psych pop fans out there. You probably remember the great English act, The Orgone Box, which
Indeed,
is Rick Corcoran. I love The Orgone Box. I mean, just hold this thing up. I was talking to Rick the other day about how much I love Judy Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
Ticket with No Return, Bubble. Life is a bait for the boy in the bubble. Sorry is the outside. What a great psych pop album that he basically recorded in his bedroom on a 4-track cassette. And I love it. Well, Rick's working on new material for a upcoming album in next year. Don't know when next year, but we've got 2 tracks in our pocket here. We're going to play next Wednesday. Wait, why don't you two do a show on Christmas Day eating Chinese food? I would love that. We'll order some
Not on
Chinese
my
food.
diet these days, Jordan. I need to lose weight to take pressure off of my compression fracture. So
Yeah. Well, we got Rick Corcoran coming up next week on the 11th. The Orgone Box, Rick Corcoran with new tracks. It's going to be a cool interview. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
And then, as I said, on the 17th, we don't have anybody scheduled. If
Not
that
yet.
doesn't
I'm going to reach out
change,
to Bob Jackson, though. We'll see what he says.
we'll see. If it changes, then we'll have a guest. If not, we may invite anybody that wants to join us to come in live and just talk music before the holiday. And then what do we got going on in the first day of the new year, David?
We do indeed have something going on. A guy who was definitely one of the luminaries of the LA pop scene starting in the mid 90s, when he formed the band The Andersons, and Robbie Rist was a member of this band as well. Will O'Brien, and there were different drummers for different times, but this is the main man of the band, and he's done a hell of a lot since the Andersons. He became the de facto bass player for the Bangles when Michael Steele decided she wasn't into it anymore, and he also fills in for the Smithereens at times when Severo, the Manila Thrilla, isn't able to. If he's not able to do a certain show, this guy may fill in. He's definitely one of the happiest, luckiest people I know. Always smiling, always has a great greeting for you anytime he sees you. He was at my wedding, and if you don't have Anderson's albums, you need to find them. Anyway, yes, Mr. Derek Anderson will be our guest, our first guest of 2025, and what a way to usher in the new year.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Gonna be a lot of fun. January 1st, New Year's Day. If you're not too hungover, make sure you join us and hang out with David and I and Derek Anderson of the Andersons, and as you said, many more.
3 p.m. or 6, especially 6 p.m. The hangover should be done.
Well, that'll give me time. I'll be working New Year's Eve at the bar, so I won't get home till 2 a.m. or so. EST, God, yeah. But that'll give me plenty of time to rest up before the show. Plenty of time. Plus, I'm not a big imbiber, so we don't worry about that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all good. So yeah, we got a couple of great guests coming up. We got maybe on the 17th we might have somebody. If not, we'd love to see some of our friends join us live, and we'll talk music and chat and say hi for the first time in the room. That'd be great.
Oh, is that the day we? For some reason, I thought we were going to do it on the day after Christmas, but no. If that's the day, then we'll leave it open.
Yep, we can leave it open.
Thank you,
it's
Tim.
great.
Yeah,
But,
I'd love. By the way, Tim, I would love to meet you too. Whereabouts do you live, Tim?
Yeah, where are you, Tim?
If you're close to where I do IPO festivals, I could meet you then.
Yeah, I don't know. Did Tim ever tell us where he's checking in from?
He may have, but I don't recall. I'm sorry to say.
That's all right. Oh, he's in upstate New York, your old stomping ground.
Near Syracuse. I
Okay,
mean,
we'll see.
Syracuse is where I started college. I was there for 3 semesters, and I was a business major, and I didn't like it at all. I wanted to transfer to journalism, so I went to their. And Syracuse has a really good journalism school. Marv Albert came out of it, and a few other people who went on to do a lot of stuff. Anyway, I remember I went over to the head of the journalism. Oh, close to Ithaca. Okay, that's Rod Serling territory. I think Rod gave lectures at Ithaca College in the early 70s. At any rate,
the Rebels were bigger than Rod.
Yeah, they were indeed. Anyway, so I went to the journalism department, and I said I'd like to transfer and become a journalism major. And they said, "Okay, what's your last name?" When I told them, they said, "Well, we're only doing N through Z this semester. You're going to have to wait till next." And I thought, screw this. I can't. There's no way I can handle business administration anymore. So I transferred to NYU, who didn't have such a restriction. And it also got me closer to home. No Grand Funk, pun intended. And that was better. And it got me to a lot better record stores, too.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there was nothing like having a car in Manhattan at that time. When I first drove there, it was really scary. But one day, suddenly, without knowing it, it was like, hey, I'm really good at this. So I love driving in Manhattan and cutting people off. It was wonderful. I didn't mean to do this, but I once cut a taxi off so badly that I saw him actually swerve like 4 lanes to the left. Nothing happened to him, so I thought it was funny. But yeah, I love driving in Manhattan, and in between classes, there'd be record stores. After class, there'd be records. I mean, whenever I had a chance.
But parking was always the difficult thing.
Parking was a bitch. Well, it depends on where you were. I mean, if you were in a busy area, for NYU, there was always a street that I tried to park on, and this is going to sound pathetic, but the parking lot near there was only $3. But for me, that was a new album, especially like promo copies. There was a place called Vinyl Mania on Carmine and 6th that used to get promo copies in of things that weren't even out yet, and they were all $2.99. So it's like, if I park, that's one less record I can buy. It's like,
right.
I'm waiting till somebody leaves, and I would wait 30 minutes to an hour sometimes for someone to leave just so I could save that money. But I didn't have much money, so that was a big deal. But yeah. So anyway, I don't even. We want to know where Tim was living. Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm
But
glad.
it's good.
That was the best move I ever made, transferring from Syracuse to NYU. Anyway.
No, it's cool.
Well,
So we'll leave the 17th open, and we'll get anybody that wants to pop in. We'll send them the link. We'll announce that a couple of days before the 17th, and you can drop us. I'll put out an email address. And
Jordan, you can even though you've been a guest, you can certainly come back on
Yeah, we'll
And
goof off. We'll
just
have a
talk
good
about
time.
whatever.
Yeah, be great. That'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Week before the holidays kick off.
And you know,
So we
maybe
got.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, we got we always got irons in the fire.
Yeah.
There's things you never know what's going to pop up. Like Derek Anderson just popped up. It's pretty great. So stick around. I hope you subscribe. I hope you tell your friends to subscribe to materialissues.com. And we'll keep this going. We're at 182 episodes, which is pretty mind-boggling in and of itself. I'm not sure what we're going to do for the big 200. We'll figure something out, but that'll be fun.
I just hope that by December 17th, I have a cortisone shot and I'm feeling.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
but doctor, especially in December, when people who've hit their deductibles are figuring, this is all going to be free at this point or close to it. So any even minor malady, they're gonna want to go to the doctor. So it makes things tough. And they do, and personally how slow they can move with things that have been going on with you. So so even if the cortisone shot gets approved, who knows when I'll be able to get it. In the meantime,
hopefully sooner than later.
Walking is excruciating.
Yeah. Keep your attitude up, and
I will.
Hopefully
I have nowhere I have to be out of this city until the third week of April. So I'm sure by then, a lot of things will be better.
Awesome. Well, another great episode. That was 2 hours. We're about ready to click at the 2 hour mark. So nice 2 hour Material Issues episode. Of course, you can always watch on the archives at materialissues.com.
Hopefully people enjoyed the music we played, and that you'll go out and buy some of it. Definitely the artists could always use your support.
Yeah, indeed. But we'll see everybody next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, when our guest will be Rick Corcoran of the Orgone Box. Everybody, have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you soon. David.
No relation to Juicy JP Orgone. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Gong Show.
Yeah, the Gong Show. One of my favorites. I love the Gong Show. Yeah. JP Morgan.
JP Morgan.
I used to watch that every week to see what she was wearing and what
one time she actually during a Gene the Dancing Machine. She flashed everyone.
Gene the Dancing Machine.
And I guess at that point, was it on NBC, whatever network, said you're not coming back. You can't come back on. So that was her last episode, I guess.
I love that. I love that Gong Show. It was great. Chuck Barris.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Love to Rena. Have a great night, David. Feel better.
Oh, thank you.
We'll see everybody later on.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks.